Hello, and thank you for joining us. I'm your host, Beth Keener, and I am here with Jay Schwartz, VP of Digital Projects, and Kevin Price, VP of Digital Assets at Hexagon's Asset Lifecycle Intelligence Division. That's really, really fancy for these gentlemen, and I can't wait to dig into what we're talking about today, which is the smart digital reality concept and what it means for the world of digital assets and digital projects. Well, gentlemen, without further ado, welcome.
Thank you, Beth.
Thanks.
How are you?
Good to be here with you. We're good.
Good.
It's great to be with you today.
Well, welcome, welcome. We're happy to have you, and I know we're going to delve into some really incredible conversation. So let's get started. When we think of the smart digital reality for autonomous industrial facilities, there are really two sides of this reality: the world of digital projects and the world of digital assets. So we need you gentlemen to explain what this means to Hexagon and to your customers. Jay, you want to kick it off?
I will, Beth. Yeah, so Hexagon, being a technology company, we pride ourselves in trying to be an industry leader, okay, with the technology that we provide. We try to be game-changing in what we provide. And what we're doing with our smart digital reality is delivering into the markets that we serve transformational disruption. Now, sometimes when you think of the word disruption, it might sound negative,
right.
But we, Kevin and I, mean this, and Hexagon means this in a very positive way. We want to take the markets that we serve, both of the projects and the asset side. We want to be able to take them to a new level of performance, not attainable before. And so for Hexagon, it's very important for us to be one of these technology companies that leads the charge, okay, out into the markets.
Kevin?
Couldn't say it even better than that, but I'll try. In our roles, we look a lot of organizations, and you think that some of these organizations are the bleeding edge of their craft. The bleeding edge of technology to be able to hone that craft, and they're not always there. So what we can do is bringing out digital project solutions, digital assets, and combining those into a smart digital reality can help our customers understand where they need to hone, where they need to be able to sharpen. Yep. And when they find out that the things that they thought were great aren't as great as they could have been, it's an opportunity for us both, because we can be able to help lend our technology to improve their process, whatever it may be, optimize their organization, whatever that may be, yep, and be able to reach an end goal that they've been trying to get to, but don't really seem to be getting there as fast as they should.
Yep.
So you guys are sharpening the tools.
Always.
Bringing it all together.
Bringing it together along with some new technology as well. Yep.
Well, let's move on to the next question, because you just touched on it. How does technology play into each of these worlds, and how are those worlds connected?
Oh, yeah, great. So in the digital project side, this is where we birth new assets. This is where we conceive and design the new facility, whether it's a chemical plant or a power plant, whatever the industrial facility is. So it's conceived, we design it, we procure the materials, we put it together, we check it out, and then we deliver it over to the operations side, which is over on the digital asset side. So in the digital project space, the customers that are out there are hungry for improvement. They've tried many things, as Kevin said. They've tried many things to improve their performance, but it just hasn't quite netted the results that they were expecting. And in truth, what's happened is the world in which we live is moving on, whether we like it or not. We don't control that pace that the world moves. So the world is moving at a pace that's greater than our engineering companies on the project side, our engineering, procurement, construction, contracting companies. They haven't quite been able to keep up with that pace. And it's evidenced in their annual reports. When you look at the financial performance, which is critical for every commercially held company, and you start looking at the trend lines, Beth, are just not quite what they need to be. They're kind of trending in the wrong direction, okay? So for them, they're looking for a solution to that, a help for that. And we believe that the smart digital reality packages together transformational disruption for these customers.
So when we think about our roles Jay looks over the digital project side, and as he mentioned, he deals a lot with solutions that birth assets or birth sites, birth different types of new ventures that people go into. My side I deal with is digital assets. So there's a handoff process that goes when you build a facility or you do a piece of equipment, and it's a lot of design reviews and a lot of design tools that are done. It actually has to hand over to a digital assets component where you operate that equipment, you have to maintain that equipment, and then you have to secure that equipment. So we have a lot of solutions that go into that mix and that portfolio of digital assets to help it out. But there is a very big challenge to every organization when they build a facility to make that switch, to be able to go from that project definition phase to actually operating, owning, and maintaining that. It's not easy. You miss a lot of details that one would think would come. So these are things like design patterns. These are things like preventive maintenance schedules. These are things like compliance and rules and guidelines. So that process of handover is what we do well. And as we look to more acquisitions, as we look to grow our technology and interrelationships between the two, that handoff becomes even better. So over time, they're transforming the way that they do that transfer. Another thing is it's not always in one direction. You build a facility and it goes.
Right. You
You have to do a lot of changes a lot of times. You want to make sure the designs are in line as well. So when we think about the modern organization, we think about all the different documents that have to go back, all the different types of information that needs to be shared, and all the ways in which it needs to be shared. This needs to be an interrelationship that works really well together.
Seamless.
Seamless. And there's not really a lot of organizations that provide technology that do that well, except for Hexagon.
I would
Hexagon
imagine
does that
too,
very well.
as you're building out these plans for these larger facilities, things are changing rapidly.
Always.
They
So
change,
the digital
they change
asset-
before even the facility comes online.
Right.
There are changes that are happening, and to Kevin's point, that churn never stops. And keeping the digital representation of the facility in sync with the physical
what's actually
facility
happening.
actually out there is critical. And we have the ability in our smart digital reality to do that.
Which is amazing. I almost feel like I was on vacation last week and I put on a VR, and it is so immersive, and where we've come that we can really live in a real reality, real time as something's being built, but then keep it accurate enough and more and precise enough to hopefully cut down or keep the line as bottom as it can be, right?
Absolutely, and that digital representation, as Kevin said, there's so many processes that happen in a running plant that you need the digital representation to support those work processes. So if that digital representation is not complete and not accurate, then the execution of the work process is not optimum. Okay, so we believe that we're going to not only optimize work processes, we believe that we're actually going to eliminate a number of work processes because there's so much capability within the technology today that on the project side we call it engineering administrivia. We just remove the engineering
That's very
administrivia
fancy,
out,
Jay.
right?
I don't
That's
know,
very
it's a
fancy.
we, that may be a J thing.
That's a J thing. But yeah, but we remove that, which are engineering cycles that don't really pack a lot of value, so that we can preserve that mind of that engineer to focus on quality, to focus on investing in the design, higher levels of design, so that what the resultant facility that's delivered is the absolute best that it can be. Today they get drugged down doing a lot of, I call it, engineering administrivia stuff. So we're going to carve all of that
He
away.
admitted it, he said I called it. Each one of those solutions that are in digital projects and digital assets, they participate in the smart digital reality in a certain way.
Yep.
And each one of them end up representing themselves, as an example, as almost a metadata component. So when you had your VR on, you saw a view of a particular object. I don't know what you were looking at. I use it a lot too with my kids. I tend to fall in the living room because I don't do it right. But if you think about the way that's laid out, there was a specific design that's there. And then when in the smart digital reality in the industrial sense, each one of those objects represents something that we have data about. So it could be data that's fed from an enterprise asset management system. It could be data that's fed from an alert management system. It could be security data. It could be a lot that's brought in. As we mature each one of the components in those digital assets and digital projects, they work for a larger whole. And that's the reality concept. So it's a virtual reality, but we make it smart, because we allow a lot of extra metadata components that help them reach their goals of what they're trying to do.
Yep.
Now let's get on to this last question, which is, as you are both alluding to throughout this conversation, is disruption. And what would you say the most disruptive or innovative technology that we can look forward to seeing in these areas, the smart digital reality area, over the next couple years?
Right, and one of the things that's really big here is, we've been talking all around it, is the connectivity of all the dots. There's a huge ocean of information, data, that needs to come together, okay, to support all of these work processes, to build the digital reality of the facility. So a lot of the magic of our smart digital reality is in what we call the digital backbone. Now, within that digital backbone, you're going to find the common things of artificial intelligence, you're going to find machine learning, you're going to find natural language like GPT, because people are going to engage with the smart digital reality in more of a conversive form. No longer on the keyboard and with the mouse as we've had in the past, but more in a conversational form, which will really be game-changing in how people work in facilities and how people work in the projects world. So the digital backbone is where a lot of the magic of the SDR sits for us. The
Sounds incredible.
Digital reality.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more. That's the secret sauce, right?
Secret sauce.
So if we think about that interconnectivity and how those different metadata components work, they have to ride that digital backbone. And then the way that they get represented, right? Jay uses an example all the time. Our lives are all on phones now. My kids are in college and they want to do everything through their phone. They want to do research by their phone. They even want to do writing by their phone. And I keep wanting to go back to a desktop because it's there. But in time, that digital backbone will lend itself to be able to have role-based views that are on devices that need to be made available in the field when they need them. So the digital backbone is going to be very disruptive because we can start joining these all together and then making it available to the people when they need it.
And the last comment I'll make is we in Hexagon, yes, we're a software company, and we do deliver software solutions to the markets we serve, but in reality, Beth, we're in the people business.
Okay.
Right? And it's all about making the lives of the people who use our technology better, okay? Giving them more cycles back to use in their personal lives, right? Just making things more available, more friendly, more intuitive, more automated, just makes life better. Just like Kevin said, everybody listening in, all of us up here, we all have a smartphone. We wouldn't leave home without it. We're lost without it. It makes our life better. So the experience that we want people to have when they come into the smart digital reality is likened to the experience we have on our smartphones every day.
Well, thank you, gentlemen, so much. I'm looking forward to it. Can you send your next technology to my house and make my life better there? I need somebody that's automatic that can just clean it. That's really all I need, right? But no, good. Thank you so much for your time today. What an interesting conversation, and we appreciate you sharing some of your time with us.
Thank you, Beth. It's great to be with you.
And to our viewers out there, you can learn more about this conversation and others by visiting hexagon.com for the latest stories from Hexagon. We thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.